I haven't really seen videos on topics like this at all, at least to my knowledge. And I honestly want to be the first one to do so, whether this video is good or bad. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to PsyQuaila Explained. To really understand PsyQuaila, we need to look into Volume 3, page 152 and 153 of the Vanguard manga, where Tetsu says, with PsyQuaila, cognition is amplified and sharpened, and they gain powerful intuition and sight. Think of it as a person with the ability of PsyQuaila's mental process just increases. Not to complicate things. And also, one thing that's really important here, and you're probably asking how to get this. Well, allow me to show you. On page 153, Tetsu explains how to actually get this ability. He says to gain PsyQuaila, I believe one needs synesthesia and a breakthrough in the cognition range. For those who don't know, synesthesia is a production of sensitive impression relating to one sense of or a part of the body by stimulation of another sense. In summary, is basically when two senses blend together. There are also many forms of synesthesia. One where a person can actually taste words, hear in colors, and also see sounds. It's a visual experience, if you will. In the world of Vanguard, honestly, PsyQuaila is like a form of visual synesthesia. Also, to elaborate on this, to put it simply, when something is triggered, the player to sunder his own shell. So, in terms of synesthesia, like when you see the number 5, you might probably see it in another color. Or when you eat something, you might probably see something that your brain pretty much shows you. If that makes sense. One thing about PsyQuaila is this is something that you cannot get through any type of mental training or hanging around a person that has the ability. So if you have that type of synesthesia, there's a chance that you may get PsyQuaila. The abilities that PsyQuaila actually lets you have, for one, being able to hear the voices of your cards. And not to be confused, but actually have your cards actually speaking to you during a card fight. No, because that's just the player's imagination. What I mean by actually have your cards speak to you as actually having the units, I guess, on Cray actually speak directly to you. Like, for example, Blaster Blade told Aichi to watch out of No Life King because that unit is very dangerous. Another example would be when Aichi fought Kyo and Blaster Blade told Aichi to call it, which was Zenon, and that's how he won the game. So that's one ability. One main ability that PsyQuaila is also known for is being able to see visions during and outside of card fights. So what this means is, like I said before about being psychic, being able to see into the future. This is basically what PsyQuaila is. Knowing the outcome of a card fight before it even happens. Now, one thing I will say, the outcome is not exactly guaranteed. Well, for one, yes, PsyQuaila shows you your image of victory about you actually winning. But at the end, that image of victory can pretty much shift into anything. It's basically a curveball. Unintentionally. An example of this would be in Vanguard episode 100, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but that episode where Aichi fought Chris in Aegis Circuit. Chris had PsyQuaila, and you probably won't even know who he is. He had PsyQuaila and actually saw Aichi losing to him. And somehow Aichi survived and actually broke the image that he saw. That's one. Or in the manga, the same thing kind of happened where Ren actually fought Asuka. Where Asuka kind of, well, thought that she won, but she didn't on the turn that she said that she was going to win. And then Ren actually made a comeback and then rode into Gust Blaster Dragon and actually won the card fight from there. PsyQuaila increases your chances of winning your card fights, but at the same time you can still lose because it's not really guaranteed and it's not really all that absolute. One other thing is, if two people have PsyQuaila, what exactly would happen? Like, it's pretty much like a normal card fight in the sense because you don't really exactly know who's going to win. You just know what you're going to get. That's pretty much another main point in PsyQuaila. And the last point I also want to bring out is kind of like also with the VF clubs. With PsyQuaila, you are pretty much able to show images of your victory to your opponent. And also at the same time, you can use those images and actually inflict real damage during a card fight. Or even outside of a card fight as well if you really wanted to. An example of this would be in some of the original animes of Card Fight Vanguard, where a person who has PsyQuaila, well, in this case, Aichi, when he actually stabbed Ren with Blaster Dark, he actually felt the pain. How I interpreted this type of ability is you, the user with PsyQuaila, sends your image to your opponent's brain, and the brain pretty much thinks that the body's hurt or it's about to get hurt, and the brain actually sends that actual pain to the body, if that makes sense. So one of the drawbacks of PsyQuaila would be, like I said before, what you see in the image of your victory is not exactly going to necessarily come true all the time. There's also a little slight change in certain things PsyQuaila may not show you for unknown reasons. So that's one drawback. Another drawback, well, what I consider a drawback, is you can get addicted to it. What I mean by this is, think about it in terms of a drug, especially for a weak person. In Ren's case, he was bullied a lot because he got good grades, and he was abused by his father and he couldn't really do anything. And I mean literally getting punched in the face by his father. And even in Vanguard, when he was getting beat by Kai over and over and over again, he felt weak. So right after the whole thing about Kai told him to image himself getting stronger, he kind of basically did that through PsyQuaila. And once he started winning most of his fights right after that, he became arrogant. So arrogant to the point where he literally changed his personality. He started demeaning most of the people that he fought, calling them weak, worthless, and anything condescending. Basically, that's his own version of giving back what he basically got from other people. And basically, to ensure that he was strong, he kept using it over and over and over again. Till he later, when he got older, he got bored. And another drawback would be when you abuse it, or when you're like just getting used to it, or you just started using it, there is a good chance that you can pass out. My perspective of it is, if you aren't used to PsyQuaila and you've overused it a lot, you can actually pass out. For an example, when Aichi fought Leon, in a way he was using PsyQuaila without even him realizing it. And right after that, whenever he finished the fight and Leon left, he used so much energy to the point where he felt weak and pretty much passed out. If that actually makes sense. Overall, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope everyone's still enjoying their day or night or whatever this video is coming out. I worked as hard as I could, and I did a lot of research and add a little real life thing to it to help you better understand. Did you know that there were other versions of PsyQuaila? The next video that I'm going to be getting into about PsyQuaila, or a form of it, is going to be known as something as PsyQuaila Zombie. See you guys later, and I hope you stay tuned.